Star Wars Battlefront 2 is due out in 2017 with new movie content. Um, and it looks like they've also announced that there will be a new game every year. Yearly releases. Here we come for Star Wars.
Welcome to the new Call of Duty.
Uh, Basically, yeah. Um, let's see. What did they actually say about this? While this page takes forever to load. Let's see. Close that. Good. Okay. So, um, Battlefront 2 looks like it's going to come out in 2017. We have something coming out that's going to be developed by what's the name of that studio on here? Visceral are developing a Star Wars game in 2018, and it would not surprise me if you're going to have um, a Battlefront game every year coming up here. Um, it just seems like okay. So the Star Wars license is now owned by EA. EA is also they also own Battlefield. Um, they're the publishers behind everything, and now they're going to release a Star Wars. So what they've announced is they're going to release a Star Wars title a year for the next 3 to 4 years, um, and Battlefront is in that lineup. I just think it's going to be too much of a temptation for them not to want to go ahead and do Battlefront 3 in 2018 and Battlefront 4 um, Battlefront 4 in 2019. I just think that they're not going to do that because they have always wanted to topple Call of Duty in the shooter genre, and this year's or last year's Battlefront did extremely well. Um, and why not? They're thinking, but I think this raises a problem that we have with the current game model for especially for shooters. Um, the full cost to play Star Wars Battlefront. I'm not talking about the one that has the 4 locations that you can play on with a total of 3 heroes, 3 villains, and basically you're getting an incomplete version of the game for $60. Now the game has already dropped in price. You can probably pick it up for around $30 to $40. But the season pass, which by the way, last time I bought a season pass for anything, it was $30. Why are they charging $50 for season pass? So you're paying 60 and then going up to 110 for the full complete version of the game. I don't understand how that model is actually working. But it apparently is. So I just I just don't see how that's worth spending as a gamer, investing in online subscription costs if you're playing on console, cost of the game, retail, cost of all the DLC with the season pass, only to, hey, guess what? We're going to market a new game to you next year. That's crazy. Like, I have far better things to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think?
As far as Battlefront goes, I actually I think I went into this game with a little bit too high of expectation, and then to come find out like all that, like you have 4 maps and 3 heroes for each side. That to me was kind of like it wasn't disappointing, but it was definitely not what I was expecting, and I was also kind of hoping for at least a space battle, like just one would have been okay, and then there's just none, which I guess is okay. Um, I definitely got too hyped about this game. And now that hear that they're going to be releasing one every year, again, that kind of puts me in the mindset of Call of Duty. And one of the reasons why I stopped playing Call of Duty was just like they kind of took the phrase, if there's nothing wrong with the formula, don't change it. And they kind of modified it to their own way. It's like people kept buying them, but they were making complaints. But they weren't changing anything that people were complaining about because they kept buying the games. So they were like, well, let's just keep going and we'll add different, we'll add an extra gun in the next game and people will still buy it. For this one, I really hope the Battlefront doesn't go down that road because that'll make me sad because I love playing Battlefront 2 for the Xbox and Xbox 360. That was probably one of my favorite Star Wars games to play. And I really wanted it. I really wanted this Battlefront to go along the same roads as that. Um, I'm not upset about the way that it is as much as I'm making it sound like, it's still a fun game to play. Um, I I didn't buy it, but I'll definitely play it at someone else's house. The next one, I'm hoping for a little bit more, just gameplay wise. So yeah,
But yeah, and this kind of bleeds into another topic that we were talking about earlier with the whole Battlefield and Call of Duty. You can't do yearly releases and not have your fan base get a little bit weary of your IP. I mean, I'm an Assassin's Creed fan, and I can't tell you how happy I am that they're going to be taking a break this year. They're actually not going to be releasing any Assassin's Creed game this year, which is great because between 2015 and 2009 to 2015, we have had at least one, sometimes two major Assassin's Creed games release a year. That's too much. Like, I just like the last one I played was Black Flag. I haven't played Rogue. I haven't played Unity. I haven't played Syndicate yet. And it's just like I want to catch up with these games. I just don't have as much time as I'd like to pour into them. But there are also other games and other franchises that I want to play. And it's just, I'm you can get overwhelmed with this, and you can get a little bit weary of, every year you're basically playing. It's kind of gotten to the problem of Madden, where it's just like, oh, we'll have it's basically the same game, but you're in a different location. Or, hey, you've got a different weapon this time around, but you're basically playing the same game. Maybe at some point they do a new graphics engine. It's just these little tiny incremental things. Personally, I think 2 years is, if you want to do one as often as possible, 2 years is good enough so that you don't get everyone bored of your franchise. And sometimes you just need to take a break and reevaluate things and take some time to bring new ideas in, and really take the time to flesh them out. When you're doing a yearly release, you don't give yourself that time to do that. And yes, they do stagger them. They do break up their development teams and kind of have them work at 3 years at a clip. But you just can't keep that. You just can't keep the pace up. You still have the problem of franchise fatigue becoming an actual thing to worry about. And I kind of can't help but feel that Battlefront is in a lot of danger of falling into that hole. I don't think it will happen for the next Battlefront. I don't think it'll happen for the third Battlefront. If we have 4 Battlefront games in 4 years, I do think people may get a little bit tired of Star Wars at that point, playing a Star Wars shooter game.